Well, you don't play if you don't do that.
If you're not on it all
That's
the time.
what we've talked about many times on this show, isn't it, Simon, where you repercussions of performances.
Yep.
And
Consequences, yeah.
It's quite simple with the competition. Liverpool's most competitive area on the pitch for places is midfield. They've got lots of midfielders.
Yeah.
But as two young lads going in there, they're going to work hard, aren't they? The enthusiasm of youth. But if you don't do it for Klopp, you don't play. Simple as that.
Yeah. Did I hear you say during the break, and I'm jumping on it, I make no apology for it, there is an obsession in the game these days with winning trophies?
Well, there should be, because that's...
I mean, how do you measure success otherwise, Danny?
Well, it depends on the club and where you've been at and who comes in and what the expectation, isn't it? That's the key. You know, we talked about Tottenham earlier with Pochettino. What he did in that time was made Tottenham nearly won the league, which they hadn't done for years. Every player in the squad got better. They started competing in the Champions League for the first time, got to a final. All of a sudden, you look at the job he did at Tottenham, and most Tottenham fans, I think, would agree and go, it was a damn good job that he did and actually surpassed expectation.
But you
didn't
Simon,
win
still call Pochettino a bridesmaid.
I do. I think they had opportunities to win things.
They did.
They lost semi-finals when they shouldn't have done.
I agree, but you still look at the job as a whole and go, it was progression and a damn good job. And he's managed PSG because of it.
Absolutely right. That's absolutely right. But when we're talking about taking him into the big jobs, and the argument is that he goes to PSG, well, PSG win the French League, with the exception of Lille last season. PSG are sort of nailed on to win the French League. They don't win anything else. They might win a French Cup. Great, fantastic. It's a piddly-pot league. They don't go into the big leagues and win them. I know they were close last year the year before. Sorry, in the Champions League final. But notwithstanding, they don't have it on their roster. So I look at it and say, well, if you're gonna build a winning formation and a winning mentality, you've got to bring people that know what winning looks like. Now that will then fly as a contradiction to my argument about Ralf Rangnick. So I understand the hypocrisy of that position, but notwithstanding it, I still have this reservation about Pochettino, because I think it's about what you do next. It's an age-old mentality that people have got to accept in football. What have you done for me lately? It's not about what you've done, it's about what you're doing next. And Pochettino couldn't get past whatever obstacle he had. I thought it was laughable, I'm sorry, to break down in tears in the semi-final of the Champions League as if that was your moment, that was your Everest. Your Everest was winning the Champions League final, not letting people show.
But what a moment that was.
Fantastic.
What you're talking about the Ajax result.
But that's the business that you're in.
Incredible,
That's
Simon.
the business that you're in. You know,
It was a hell of an emotional moment.
Well, I'm sure it was.
Even you would have cried.
No, I cry every day. I cry every day I come in and look across the table at you, but that's for a different reason.
There you go.
Right? But I just think there was a moment that you control yourself, you exhibit statesman-like qualities, and then you go and win the and then you can have as many tears as you want.
I concur with that, especially when you're the leader of a group of men. But the question you asked about winning trophies, of course it's important, and especially at the top level with the big clubs, because that's what you're judged on through history.
Yeah.
But I think as a moment in time, when you look at where the club's at, and we go back to the original point with Liverpool, I mean, when Jurgen Klopp went in there, he took over, Simon and I were just talking off air, he took over a squad that had lost Suarez, Sterling had gone, Stevie G had finished, Carra had finished. There was a rebuild on. So to bring them forward like he has with the net spend that they've actually is pretty remarkable and deserves great credit. I listened to some of the argument the other day regarding comparing and contrasting to Pep. I mean, going over old ground,
the spend.
But it's very hard. Yeah. It's very difficult to actually make comparison, because would Klopp have gone into Man City at the same time and Pep had done what Pep's done? Maybe, because he's a super manager. And would Pep have done what Klopp had done at Liverpool? Maybe. We'll never know.
Well, Trent was the one who started the ball rolling on that argument.
Yeah,
yesterday.
he did. Yeah.
But certainly, Simon, your comparison about spending between Pep and Klopp, I mean, it got an enormous reaction yesterday. What's your observation this morning on Klopp?
Well, my observation is that if you look at Klopp's performances at Liverpool over the 5 or 6 years, this is his 7th season. So, he started in October of 2015, taking over from Brendan. If you look at the first 3 years, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, it was the perennial bridesmaid. He was the Pochettino of his time. He was getting the Liverpool side to regear itself, retool itself, and get to a level that it hadn't been for some time. But they were losing finals. They'd lost 2 or 3 finals. And so it looked like, hang on a second, Klopp has got this $1 million smile and is getting away with it because people like him. And then you see 18, 19, 19, 20, and boom, the lights come on. And Liverpool, in those 2 years, were electric. That's why they won the Champions League. That's why they won the Premier League. There was an argument to say they're one of the worst defenders of the Premier League in the 2021 season. And I know people will give me a story about how many centre-backs they lost and how they were depleted. But everybody had challenges, and that's what you have to overcome if you're the champions. You don't defend the title the way they defended it last year, because there was a portion of that season where they were shocking.
Yeah.
So I look at Klopp and say, really, he's had 2 really halcyon years. But this season tells you how good a manager is, because there was an argument that Liverpool after last year were a busted flush and were not going to be able to get back to the levels that they had in 18, 19, 19, 20. But here they are again.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think when we're comparing and contrasting, and this argument about spend, I know people don't like it, and specifically people in Manchester don't like it, but it is unarguable. If you've spent 3 times the amount of money on players, how you spend that money, of course, is part and parcel. You can be given loads of money and spend it badly.
Yeah.
But if you're given 3 times the amount of money and you've got managers that are potentially equal in capability, it's unarguable that if you gave Klopp 3 times the amount of money, he might have done precisely what
Guardiola has
done,
achieved.
and he'd be able to pick the best players to play the best brand of football that he wants, and he's got 2 for each position. We can all produce, if you're at that level, the elite managers, elite teams, if you've got inordinate amounts of money.
Also,
were
the
you
coaches.
even surprised by the comparison you discovered yesterday when I saw you burrowing into the comparative
I'd
net
done it 2 months
spend?
ago. And the other comparison was, of course, the reason why Man United weren't brought into the equation because the debate wasn't about Man United. Trent Alexander had started an argument about Liverpool and Man City and
Quality,
comparable trophies.
quantity.
Trevor had gone down the Blue Moon bit, started singing straight away, and we all had to hum that bloody song. So I put a contrast in there. But if you brought Man United into the equation, Man United is scandalous. You know, we were talking about £667,000 a point for Pep, 243 grand a point for Klopp. It's 1.5 million pounds a point for Manchester United.
No.
To win nothing.
But also,
that's how scandalous
but
it is.
1.5 million a point.
What that shows as well is you picking the right coach for the right squad, the right team, and what that needs. So, for example, it looks to me that Jurgen Klopp is very good in the recruitment team there at finding diamonds in the rough, and there's lots of examples. And then he shines them and coaches them and builds their confidence and puts them into a system that works for them. So,
but there's no diamond in the rough with Virgil van Dijk.
no, there's always that. Yeah, but that's
£75 million.
moved on. I'm on about the initial when to build the squad up to a point where you
Look
can
at
grab.
2 fullbacks, Robertson and Trent.
Yeah, but not just there's a lot. You look at Coutinho, they got for 10 million. Firmino, nobody knew him when he come, and now he's the master of the false start. All these examples, and Pep's phenomenal at managing egos and all these best players. It's all well and good being able to spend the money. You've still got to manage the players,
and that's true too.
But what one point that you made about United shows you how important it is to appoint the right coaches who are able to deal with these types of players and put them into a team system and not just by individuals. United, I mean, I don't think anyone who knows football would disagree with this. I think if Pep or Jurgen Klopp had gone into United,
be a different dynamic,
and spent what they've spent, they'd be sitting there with a lot more trophies right now after 30
Danny
years.
Murphy, you can come back now a Thursday, mate. Lachlan McNeil, Danny brings a great, reasoned, sensible opinion from an ex-player. So you've got an ex-owner in Simon, an ex-player with Danny, and they complement each other very well.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.